there's a W-2 problem going on in the finance department with the teachers' W-2s.
Teachers?
It was with the new health insurance, and to my knowledge, it hasn't been rectified. I know it's not to do with next year's budget, but, because we eliminate all these positions. There was a person who did the W-2s, we eliminated that position, and the old finance director brought in a consultant who did it wrong. So now the W-2s have to be, the way the insurance is recorded on their W-2s.
And that's strictly the education department, or it's both?
No, because they're the only ones over on the new health insurance.
All right, so then, does Matt know that this is going on?
Matt has been trying to get the new W-2s and they can't get them.
Okay, all right, I'll talk to him tomorrow.
I'll tell you about it.
Yeah,
So if you could help them out,
Yeah.
they would appreciate it.
okay.
Anything else in regards to?
That's for
budget?
2017, Tracy?
Yes.
Is that, yeah, okay.
Oh, go ahead, you have something?
Why, you
No,
have
no,
some-
go ahead, I lost my train of thought.
Okay, anybody else have any questions for the finance?
I have one more, actually.
Sure.
So Linda, maybe you can help us. So there's been various departments that have come in front of us, and we've talked about common database, right? We've talked about it with the police, with the tax office, with the building department, and some departments really gonna need to champion the effort. You know, we struggle, we have struggled with years where our systems don't talk to one another. So if you have someone go into the tax office to pay back taxes, they may have a judgment against them or a blight fine, they may have parking tickets, and we don't have any consolidated database so the tax office could view all that and say, well, in order for us, you need to have 3 parking tags, you have a blight fine, and you have your back taxes, and you pay all those things, and we're good to go. So we've talked, again, another thing that we've talked about for a lot of years, and we never seem could be able to cross the finish line. So I don't know if that's a finance department kind of championing effort, but I know the tax department, I've talked with Leslie in the tax office, we've talked with Chief Karagianis, the police department, we've talked to the building department. So everybody agrees that it needs to happen, it's just, it hasn't happened.
I'm not aware, quite honestly, of a system out there that does that without a lot of manpower. Because every one of the departments you talked about tends to have their own unique, discrete system. So QDS sort of has the lion's share of the tax collector and assessor, Munis has the financial system, I don't know who the police department
So
has.
QDS has a module that works with the police department. They came last year, they demoed it, Leslie kind of championed it, and so there was an ability to connect those together, didn't happen.
Well, I would also tell you, with all due respect to QDS, they are great salespeople. You have to hold their feet to the fire if you're gonna make anything work. So if this is an area that everybody feels, and to me, this is something that would be nice to happen down the road, again, you gotta deal with this up to the current stuff. It's an issue of, do you get the information from QDS and then do you find out? One of the problems that most municipalities have is people buy software, but then they don't hire anybody to help them implement the software. So the software gets implemented in the mind of the person who's implementing it, as opposed to the person who knows the system and knows how to make the system work more efficiently. And it's the old, sometimes you have to spend money to make money. So I would never recommend any kind of a consolidation like this without hiring a third party who is a primary management IT consultant who knows how to make these things happen and has no connections whatsoever to the software companies. And then I've seen this in action, and you make people sign their names at milestones. And let me tell you, people buy into the system and the systems work because their feet are being held to the fire. With all due respect, you don't have enough staff here to try to deal with managing it. It's something that would be great, and it would probably be a money yielder, but you're just not there yet. You know, you don't have the positions that you need. You've got an IT department that's got 2 people, and yet you're supporting an awful lot of programs here. You know, it's a great idea, we can look into it after we're done with all this budget stuff, but again, QDS they're great salespeople. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Lisa, anybody else have anything?
Just a comment, with the bills, a lot of the problems that getting the bills out, I heard it was a cash flow problem
What are you talking about, bills?
for like vendors and stuff like
No,
that.
well, we don't, we issue deficit bonds.
No, but I mean, throughout the year, Kevin used to hold the.
We don't need to hold them anymore. You've issued the deficit financing, we have the cash, we're releasing the bills. The thing I'm more worried about is people coming out of the woodwork suddenly saying, oh, you didn't pay me for this, you didn't pay me for there, and I'm not processing anything without somebody doing their diligence to make sure that we really do in fact owe these people the money. But no, we're within a week of, if a check has been cut on a Friday,
Mhm.
it's out by the following Friday. We're not holding.
No, good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can answer this or not. Speaking of bills, was there a bill not paid for a roof on a school?
I can't answer that.
Not completely paid for?
We don't pay, I think we process the Board of Ed checks, but we're not the, sort of the overseer of what, like, the way we look at the city expenses, the board really does everything they do, and then they give them to us and we cut the checks. I can't answer that without knowing specifically more information, I'd have to know more. So if you wanna, if you wanna call me tomorrow and tell me what it is or specifically what, or Mayor, do you know what?
I honestly, I would defer to Ken Carney. He usually knows because
Okay,
he
I'm meeting with
has
him
the
tomorrow
different, yeah,
morning.
he has all the
I'm meeting
projects
with
and
him
he'll
on the
know.
school tomorrow.
If somebody doesn't get paid, he usually screams, so.
Oh, it's what school?
Carrigan,
Oh,
Yeah.
Carrigan.
But did
I'm
not
sorry,
get paid?
Kerrigan?
Carrigan School.
Well, I'm meeting with him in the morning on the high school building
Yeah,
project, so
he'll be
let me
able to
ask
tell
him.
you.
Okay, okay.
No.
Good, Councilman.
Since we brought up IT, could you, there's a line item under other repair and maintenance for VoIP telephone maintenance. But on the other side of the column, there's telephone/communications, and there's a bunch of, I'm assuming telephones operation on that side. I'm just trying to figure out, we're on the handout we had over
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, there's telephone on both sides, like,
The telephone, the AT&T legacy, et cetera, those are annual recurring expenses. Those are the operational costs of having your telephones. And they include different things in terms of what's maintenance, what's not. If you're talking about the other repair and maintenance, the 52570 account, is that what you're?
yeah, the VoIP telephone,
Right.
that's
Those are,
basically computer phones.
right, VoIP telephone maintenance is over there as opposed to under telephone communications.
So we have VoIP telephones in here while we also have old dinosaur telephones in here as well?
That I'm not sure I can answer. I do know that we have VoIP go on a lot of the phones.
So we're possibly having redundant telephone
I-
systems in this
I
building?
don't think so.
The state
I don't
wouldn't
think
let
so.
us
I
go
think
on.
your IT.
Yeah, there's a secure system, there's
Right. The
there's
state
certain
wouldn't let
things
us
I do
go
know
onto
about,
their
yeah.
system.
Yeah,
I don't know, I just had a question regarding, there's VoIP telephones on one side, because generally, you could get VoIP telephones cheaper than you can for the old legacy telephones, in
yeah,
my
I don't know what
experience.
the legacy is, but it may be, there may be security issues on that.
Okay.
Okay. But do you want me to get more information?
Yeah, I just wanna know if, whether or not we could go more VoIP, if not, if there's certain things we can't go on.
All set, Councilman?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any more questions? I just have one thing, because as you said, you really gotta get into this, and unfortunately, it's gonna be after the budget season, so, do you think right now that it's, the finance department is working properly? We're understaffed,
I think we could be more efficient.
more efficient?
I think we could be more efficient, but I also, again, with only being here 2.5 weeks, I mean, the one thing I will say to you is, I'm sitting right now with a stack of mail about this high on my desk that I just literally haven't had time to open. And I had checked with Kevin and said, who opens the mail? Because it was out at that desk out in the hallway, and he said he did. So when he told me that, I figured, okay, that's part of what I'm supposed to do every day, and it's sort of falls by the wayside because there's things that have to be done for the MARB, for what we need to do, for people in the office asking, and that's the one thing that's just sitting by the wayside. Is that the wisest use of the finance director's time to have the person answer the open mail? Probably not. But, I haven't had time to sort of figure out, well, who's got the time to open the envelopes for me? you know, could it be
And
more
I'm just-
efficient? Probably.
I'm more efficient, but I find it to be what we're going through right now that, I don't know, I think, you know, I'm asking you, do you think that it should be staffed a little bit better? And somebody more than, as you said, you're efficient, but somebody more than 3 days a week.
Oh, no, you need a full-time finance director, there isn't even a doubt in my mind, because one, it's just the stuff that's happening now, but once the MARB really intensity starts to grow, and I think it will, that person's gonna be spending easily a day and a half a week trying to deal with things that they're looking for, and the work has to get done in the office. You know, I mean, I am handed vouchers, for example, to sign. Again, the Munis system has a totally paperless requisition system, but we're not using it. Some departments are, some departments are not. So if we can get people to do that, that cuts down on somebody else is sitting there filling these vouchers out, and then me sitting there reviewing them, asking all the questions, looking at it. I can still do that electronically, you know, and then I have things I can look at. But yeah, I think that there's things that we need to do to become more efficient, which will free up some time. And again, I mean, if we could get to other than a weekly pay, I think we would see a marked amount of time available, particularly because, I mean, we need somebody who can really manage the benefits right now, and they're significant. You know, we're self-insured, we have a multiplicity of vendors performing different functions for us, and we really need to have somebody devoted to really working on that. And I'm taking that upon myself to try to see if I can sort of work on that during the months of May and June, so we can get the base set up so the next person can just sort of take it over. But there's a lot of work to do in there on benefits. And I don't mean who gets it, I don't mean like what the benefits are, I mean making sure that the benefits are being administered properly, and making sure that people who are retired that have responsibilities to pay the premiums are in fact doing what they're supposed to be doing. So.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
No, I was just wondering, I think we need a 5-year plan for MARB. Do we have any, like a ETA on that?
Well, I think Kevin did one. We're working on it. We've got different people pulling in different pieces for us. We have to get this to them by when? Monday?
Well, I wanna get it to him by Monday.
Because
If
Hartford's
I-
had theirs in for a while.
Can I answer it, because I'm the
Yeah,
one who
please.
knows about it? As I said earlier, Kevin prepared a 5-year plan before he left. He told me he was working on it, gave it to me the last day he was here. The 5-year plan basically is, kept everything flat, increased the mill rate by over 4 mills in '20. So, again, I could have submitted that plan, and I hate to say it, the MAR probably would have been all in. But I don't think that that's the right way to do it. I think it would be bad for West Haven. So that's why I have been working diligently and working with the departments and working with anybody outside, like Deb Tester, who's locked in, to see if we can have a more comprehensive plan with better figures to minimize any tax increase. Because I think it would be very, very difficult for people in the city to pay over a 4 mil increase for the next 4 years and then add the fire tax on top of it. I think it would be devastating to the city. So that was my opinion, and if anybody on the council thinks it's a good idea to raise the taxes 4 mils, it's, or 4.5, because that's what he had.
I
They
think
can
it was
speak.
asked before, do we have any, also an ETA in the audit?
We are expecting the draft financials without the OPEB calculations, I think by the beginning of next week. Because the month ends on Monday, right? Yeah, the month ends on Monday. I talked to the actuary on the OPEB last week, and she is not gonna get this to us until the middle of May for a variety of reasons, which I'm not gonna go into unless you want me to. But the bottom line is, we can't issue the audit without the OPEB, but at least the financial numbers will not change because of the way the OPEB fits into the financial statement. So we're waiting right now. We've given him everything he's looking for. He has everything he needs. We just need the report from him. And we will have a draft, as I said, next week. And because the MARB needs that as well.
Yes, because I remember the email we had, MARB wants a lot of stuff, just, they also wanted, what's required under budget balance, or balanced budget ordinance, which we haven't seen yet, which is supposed to be presented at a regular meeting this month, which we never got that under that ordinance. So I was wondering, can we get that at some point?
it's basically one and the same, and to be honest with you, I had Mr. Damas check this, and since the balanced budget ordinance went in 16, we've had a deficit since then. No one has reported out, and nobody has done any cuts. What the balanced budget ordinance says is that, number one, you need projections, which you did get. Number two, you need cuts, which I am working on every single day, and I will be presenting to this body. So that's where we are with the balanced budget ordinance. We have never, that ordinance is not worth the paper it's written on, because at the last yay, it was already in violation and has been in violation every day since, including and up to today, because we've always had a deficit.
I want us to stop being in violation of it then. We should start forward to structure change. We should start going forward following
And
our
that-
ordinances.
But Councilman, that's what we're doing. That's this whole thing that with the MARB, but I don't have a magic wand to just wave it and fix it. I'm doing my best. I'm in here every day at 7 o'clock, and I'm doing everything I can to bring about structural change. But this mess didn't happen overnight, and it's not gonna be cured overnight.
And on that structure change, you brought up Lockton before. How much does Lockton get paid for
Who?
Lockton? They're our insurance broker, aren't they?
Right.
They're a consultant, they're not a
Consultant.
broker.
How much do they get paid from the city?
They get paid 120.
Well, they don't get paid from the city,
Well, they
though.
get paid out of a commission
Right,
allowance.
let's be
Yeah.
clear, that's the agent of record.
Right, they're the agent of
Right.
record. There's a commission allowance that in Anthem structure,
Mhm.
they get paid 120 out of that. And
So they make money, well, obviously they make money of us, off us.
I would say
staying
they're
in
not
Anthem.
making money on this city based on the level of service that they are providing to us. I mean that sincerely, I don't think they are. The number of manpower, the number of individuals that they have assigned to this account, and the amount of time that they're spending on this account, I'm guessing they're just about breaking even on what they get from us. Because this is not an easy account to manage, because there's so many moving parts. And that's one of the goals, is with Lockton's assistance, is to really straighten this thing out and make it a much easier process to manage.
Have you been with any towns that went to the state insurance program?
There are towns that have gone to the state insurance program. The benefits are richer than the majority of the communities have. When the state plan started, my understanding was it was an all or nothing thing. So if a Board of Ed wanted to go in and everybody else didn't, they didn't want you. Deb told me Monday that now they're relaxing their rules a little bit, but it would not be to the city's advantage to have part of the city in and part of the city out, because you gain by the larger the group you are. You know, it's your overall experience. But there are disadvantages to the state plan as well. And it isn't, I think it isn't mature enough yet to really know what the track record's gonna be. That's one of the challenges. I don't think there was an earlier municipal plan which did not get a lot of traction, but I don't know how many towns have actually gone into this. A lot of them, the unions do not want any part of it. And so, a lot of towns just don't want any part of this at all. And I don't see this as ever taking 50% of the towns, ever.
Anybody else have any more questions? Yep.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. It was
Thank
very
you.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.